Ashe, we are live. Peace family, Kanja Queen here, and welcome to the Pain to Prosperity Workshop. I am so excited that everybody is here today. Happy Friday. Today is the day of love, and this is the perfect day to start to heal ourselves with that self-love energy. We are going to get into a lot of things today. It's a 3-day workshop, first of all. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say shout out to the Divine Royalty family in the building. Shout out to the newbies in the building if you're new to my channel. And if, let's say, for instance, you just heard about me through a family or friend, then make sure you subscribe, okay? Because if you want to engage in a live chat, then you have to be a subscriber. And I want to check out I'm looking at the chat right now. I see the family up in the building. Shout out to the family. Where y'all at? Where y'all repping at? You feel me? I see Texas in the building. Okay, St. Louis in the building. I see y'all. Brooklyn in the building. Okay. So first of all, we're going to get that energy up. Okay, we are going to get really deep into some shadow work. We are going to be identifying the root causes of our problems. We are going to be getting into a lot of the shadowy parts of ourselves that we don't like to look at. But before we even get there, let's just try to raise the energy up a little bit. I am feeling really vibrant. How are you guys feeling today? Because there's so much to cover, we won't be able to cram everything all in one segment. So that's why we're going to break it up into 3 days. Okay, so I'm just going to give you guys a little brief overview of what we're going to be talking about. What is this challenge about? I see a lot of social media challenges, and a lot of these challenges that are trendy really doesn't improve our lives. It really doesn't have any true essence to it. And so I thought to myself, you know what? We need to create a challenge that is not only going to help ourselves, but is going to also benefit our descendants, our children, the community, and the world around us. Because a lot of us are the pioneers ushering in the new dawn. We are in a new age. Some may call it the age of awakening. Some may call it new higher consciousness. Some may say we're entering the new earth. Some may say this is the age of Aquarius, okay? So whatever name you like to put on it, I would like to say that we are entering into a new transformational time. And this is the perfect time to be alive. And if we want to break the karmic cycles of our ancestors, of our mothers and grandmothers and grandpas and uncles and aunties and everybody who came before us, we don't want to repeat those toxic karmic cycles. It's time for us to break it. A lot of us come here to be the pioneer of our ancestors, to break these karmic ties once and for all. And so in order for us to do better, in order for us to get to prosperity, we have to understand, where does the pain come from? We have to look at our pains. And then only when we understand and identify what our pains are, so that's what we're going to talk about in day 1, which is today. We are going to be talking about identifying the pain, identifying the issue, identifying the problem. And not only that, but really getting deep and understanding, where does this underlying issue come from? What is the root cause? Focusing on the root chakra. Okay, we're going to get into that a little bit in the segment. And then tomorrow, the second day, we're going to be talking about emotional triggers. We're going to be talking about the signs, because a lot of the times the universe reflects to us things that we need to work on. Whenever we suppress our shadowy selves, it tends to come up in our relationships, in our workplace. It comes up in all types of situations in life to constantly remind us that it's a certain lesson that we have not learned. And what they say, life is a school. And if you don't learn the lesson, you are bound to repeat it. Okay, so we're trying to graduate, we're trying to level up, and we're trying to get up out of this realm, right? And so the third day, we are going to be talking about solutions, healthy solutions. We're going to be talking about implementing these solutions and how to change our karmic toxic cycles and replace them with healthier solutions that are going to be long lasting, right? So without further ado, let's get into day 1. We're going to talk about these identifying our pains, right? So first of all, how's everybody doing? Can y'all hear me good? Because I don't want to get into this. There is a little delay, but if you guys can see me, if you guys can hear me, then that is perfect, right? Okay, let me just clear the air. Let me just, we are going to be getting into some deep stuff. So I'm going to burn a little bit of Palo Santo. Okay, Palo Santo in the building. So for those of you that may be wondering what Palo Santo is, it is holy wood. We burn this to purify the space. More people are familiar with sage, but Palo Santo is very strong. Sage is good too, but Palo Santo helps to remove the negative energy. I like to burn sage sometimes to keep that good energy flowing through, right? Burning sage is for sweetness, also to raise the vibration. So I'm just sending some good positive energy your way, wherever you may be. Feel free to burn your sage, Palo Santo, whatever you got going on, your pine. Okay, we're going to raise up the vibration up in here, family. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Ashe is word of affirmation. Okay, because we believe that words are spells. And if we want to create our reality, we create our world with our words. So we're going to be speaking life and positivity into our life moving forward. Okay, so let me hydrate. Alrighty. So I see the family come in the building. We got a nice amount of people up in here. Now look, this is what we're going to do. We are going to delve into pain, right? What is pain? Nobody likes it. Nobody likes how it feels. Everybody just wants to feel pleasure. Everybody wants to enjoy life. Everybody just wants to suppress all of those nasty feelings that they have. People want to suppress their emotions. People don't want to think about the pain. People don't want to think about the past. People don't want to think about the things that hurt them. So what do? We distract ourselves with all of the things like social media, TV, and all types of stuff that's going on in the world today. There's tons of distractions in this third dimensional reality, right? So why do I call this workshop From Pain to Prosperity, right? Why is it that we have to focus on our pain, and how are we going to get to the prosperity part? Well, the first step is, one, identifying the problem. And I'm going to give you guys some examples of what a particular problem is, right? Now, when many of you have signed up for this workshop, you have filled out a form that said, why are you coming into this workshop? What do you want to get out of this workshop, right? And I've noticed that there were very popular or common themes where people were having abandonment issues, people were having daddy issues, people were noticing problems coming up in their relationships, people are having problems with their health, people are having issues with money, and people are just wondering, why do I feel like I'm not where I need to be in my life? Now, understand that we live in a harmonious universe. Everything is vibration, right? Now, what happens is our natural state is harmony. Our natural rhythm is supposed to be in sync. That's why we call it synchronicity. Whenever we are having a dis-ease in our body, or we are not in alignment with our truth or in the right path of where we technically belong, the universe gives us a sign that shows up as pain. We notice discomfort. We notice dis-ease or disease. And this manifests in multiple ways. And a lot of the times we've been conditioned in this society to suppress it, right? We look at the medical industry. They don't want to cure you of your dis-ease. They want to treat it so that you can continue to keep coming back. So we have to understand that we live in a society that is designed to profit off of your pain. Okay, so once we realize that there's other people that's profiting off of our pain, we could profit off of our own pain. We could transform our pain into prosperity. And you're wondering how. You got to understand that pain and pleasure is the same thing. One of the really good books I would recommend you read, if you haven't read already, is called The Kybalion. And it talks about the 7 universal principles, right? These 7 universal principles talk about, it's like the laws of the universe, right? Undeniably so. And they are very effective. Now, why do we need to know this? Basically, it's called the law of polarity, right? Cold and hot, right? Cold and hot is the same thing, but it's just on two different extremes, two different sides of the totem pole. Pain and pleasure is the same thing. It's a sensation, right? When you are doing alchemy, you understand that you as an alchemist have everything that you need that can transform your pain into prosperity. Now, I'm going to give you an example. One of the things that I noticed is someone said that they, let's say, for instance, they tend to not be able to express themselves. They find themselves in this space where they feel like they're not living their life, right? This is a particular identifying the problem. Let's say a person says, you know what? I feel like I can't speak up. If I'm in a meeting, a board meeting, and let's say, company meeting, everybody else is speaking their opinions and you don't feel comfortable to stand up and speak your truth. You don't feel confident enough to open your mouth and say your piece. And not only in work situations, but this may also manifest in your relationships. So one of the things we have to realize is you got to ask yourself, when did I lose my voice? When was my throat chakra blocked? And it's not that it just started happening as an adult or as a teenager. A lot of the times this goes way back to childhood. I noticed a pattern that people who had really strict parents, the parents that said children are to be seen, not heard, these are the same children that grow up as adults that don't know their own voice because they never were allowed to express themselves. Now, some people may say, well, it's not hard. Just say what you got to say. What's so hard about speaking your truth? You have to realize that it's deeper than that. When your throat chakra is blocked off at a very young age, this blocks you from creating to express yourself creatively. Whether that is the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you express yourself, even to the point where in relationships, people who cannot express themselves and speak out, they tend to attract narcissists or abusive partners that dominate them, right? They tend to attract people that dominate them, that talk over them, that don't listen to them. And this is a repeating cycle where this person feels small because they've always had parents that dominated over them, silenced them, made them feel stupid or made them feel bad for speaking their truth. Okay. And this is not to blame our parents because we got to look at the common denominator. How was their relationship? How is our parents' relationship with their parents? Did their parents shut them up and silence them? Did their parents allow them to speak their truth? Somebody in the comments says West Indian parents. West Indian parents, Black Southern parents, a lot of people, whose parents were domineering. They dictated to their children what their life should be. They dictated to their children, no, you can't do this, you have to do that. And so now as an adult, you're so used to taking orders that you don't know how to think for yourself. Because whenever you do have an opinion or whenever you do have the urge to rebel, you always still have that voice in your head telling you, don't do that, don't say that because you're going to get in trouble, right? So we have to break out of that karmic cycle. And we're going to talk about that in a different segment. But hold on, because I'm going to give you guys some more pointers. And yeah, I'm reading the comments. People saying the African parents, Dominican parents, and this is a common issue in many communities where parents feel as though because they're older, they know what's best, and they try to project themselves into their child without allowing the child to fully blossom into who they're meant to be. And now what happens is you have an entire generation of hurt adults who never healed that inner child, who got silenced. Okay, we got hurt adults that never did the healing, that don't even know that they're hurt. And that's why we're doing this workshop, because when what's the old saying? They say that when a person is so used to being weighed down and so used to carrying pain for so long, they learn to think that it's normal. They learn to feel like this is what it's supposed to be. Hold on, let me turn this light on. Get some light up in here. It was getting a little bit dark. But basically, I'm going to give you guys another example, right? Because what we're doing right now is we're going to the root cause, okay? Now, let me think of another example here. Someone said that money tends to be another issue that I notice is not just something that happens by coincidence, but poverty is a generational thing. Poverty is a generational curse, because we got to think about it. There's a reason why the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. It's systematically designed that way. But the beauty of this time and age right now is that we have access to so much information. In the world of information, ignorance is a choice. There's plenty of free information out there, but the funny thing is, some people don't know where to look. And thank you so much for the donations, family. I appreciate you. Ashe. People don't know where to look when they see everybody. Let's say, for instance, I'm gonna give you guys an example. If you grew up in poverty, let's say you grew up in the projects. I'm speaking from myself. I come from very humble beginnings. I grew up in the projects, right, in Brooklyn. And when you're growing up in poverty, and let's say everybody around you is in poverty, it seems like it's normal. Being broke, being poor, being unhealthy, when you're in this circle of toxicity, of poverty, it seems like the norm until you step outside of that circle. That's why it's really important to analyze your social circles. We're going to get into that in the next segment. I got you. So, oh God, there's so much stuff to talk about. But poverty is generational. I'm going to explain to you this. Why is it that our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and this is not for everybody, but the majority of us in here, let me tell you something. They tend to pass down poverty, okay? They don't pass down wealth. They don't pass down assets. A lot of the times they pass down liabilities. They pass down debt. They pass down bad credit. There's lots of parents and grandparents who use their grandkids and kids' name to buy things for credit and not knowing that they were setting their children and descendants up for failure. Okay. And it's not that they did this on purpose, but maybe that's what their parents did. So now we live in a time where people are saying, I'm tired of being broke. I don't want my children to suffer like I did. Where does this come from? Why is it that poverty is within your family? You got to ask this question, why is it that my family had poverty? Why did they continue to repeat this cycle? And maybe, just maybe, you're the one that's supposed to break it. Yes, Pleasant Powell says people pass down the pain. The pain is passed down. Poverty is passed down. Even unhealthy eating is passed down. So there comes a point in time where we have to realize that the reason that we're having these situations, people only notice the symptoms. See, this is the issue here. When the pain flares up, that's only the symptom of what's really going on. That's not even the root cause, okay? The root cause is the deep psychological things embedded in our mind, okay? Things passed down from our parents, our grandparents, and those who came before us, okay? So we gotta realize that our parents and grandparents before us, they were brought up that go to school, get a good job, and live happily ever after. Get married, have kids, get happily married, live happily ever after. But then the newer generation came forward and was like, that system doesn't work for me anymore. And as you can look around and see, These old outdated systems are crumbling. Why is that? Because we don't have a use for it anymore. Last year it proved that people don't even need to go into physical schools anymore. People can teach themselves. People can learn from home. People can go into a library or go online and take courses and learn how to do things themselves. Okay? That old outdated system it's over. I'm just going to be honest. And that's why a lot of people now are trying to find themselves, because they've been living a life that their parents and grandparents and their family wanted them to live. And that system is outdated now. Totally outdated. We got to also think about health. How many of y'all, right? Show of hands in the chat room. How many of y'all ever heard the saying that, oh yeah, diabetes run in my family. Oh, high blood pressure run in my family. Oh, I got sugar because it runs in my family. Oh, I got this issue because it runs in my family. Oh, I'm big boned. It's okay, right? We all heard these sayings before, especially in the ethnic community, where we think that certain diseases are normal because we just heard like, oh yeah, it's in my family, it's in my bloodline, like it's normal. No, it's not. There's no such thing as these diseases just being passed down because people in your family had it. The truth of the matter is, what it is that you are repeating the same bad eating habits as your family. And that's why everybody's getting sick, because nobody ever taught you how to properly eat for your blood type, for your body type, and automatically for you. Everybody's body is different. And I always advocate that people learn what their blood type is, because the blood type, your diet really depends on your blood type a lot of times. Okay. And so now that we are in this age of information, people can now realize like, yo, there's so many healthy options out there. You know, there's so many different type of diets and lifestyles out there. I hate the word diet, so let's just say lifestyles, right? Different healthy eating lifestyles out there. And, you know, the thing is, before the age of the internet, people only ate or cook meals that they mama passed down. Like, oh, this is how my grandma made her macaroni and cheese. This is how my mama made macaroni and cheese. Oh, this is soul food. Like, this is what my family made. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I eat ham hocks. I eat collard greens with pork foot in it. I eat, like, this is just what was passed down. So you only knew how to cook whatever you was taught. You got to realize that now, right? Because that's all you knew. But now you got all of the internet. You got YouTube University teaching you how to cook all of these different recipes now. Okay. So the information is out there. So now, like once again, I said, we are, somebody said, yuck. Listen, you'll be amazed at how many people be tearing up some pork feet. Okay. We are the generation that is shifting the paradigm. Okay. And so I know you hear me talking a lot about the physicality of ailments, right? I'm talking about money issues, health issues, relationship issues. Oh, that's a big one. We're going to get into relationship issues, but the thing I was about to say is pretty much a lot of these problems that flare up as symptoms in the physical realm is only an effect. But the cause is spiritual. I'm going to say that again. Whatever happens in the spiritual realm is the cause. Whatever happens in the physical realm is the effect. We got to realize that things happen in the spirit before it manifests into the physical, right? If you're having physical problems, there's something that's wrong with your spirit. And this is an old saying. The old indigenous people, Native Americans, believe that if a person is sick, it means that their spirit is sick. If a person is ill, it means that their aura is weak. A lot of the time, some of you may have weakened auras because you've never healed that childhood trauma. You have pain stored in parts of your body, in different parts of your chakras, and you have to do the chakra healing work, the energetic healing work, in order to break up that stagnant energy. Some of you guys have bad feng shui in your house, and that's the reason why sometimes money is not flowing through. That's the reason why chaos is in your house, because you don't have organization. You don't have any peace. You don't have any structure. How do you expect to have any peace in your life? Your house is a reflection. This is what I always say. If you want to know the state of mind of a person, go look at their house. If a person's house is filthy, I'm talking about cockroaches everywhere, rats running all over the place, clothes all over the floor, you can't see the floor, dirty walls, dirty windows, dirty mirrors. Oh God, dirty mirrors is a big no-no. If you got dirty mirrors, please clean them, because these are aspects of the spirit. We got to realize that everything is a reflection of us, right? Everything is a reflection of us. And we project that into the physical world subconsciously. Relationships is a really big thing where triggers come up, but we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because relationships, your relationships with your friends, your lovers, your family, coworkers, peers, whatever, is the ultimate reflection back onto you of emotional triggers and signs that you need to work on yourself. Right? There's a lot of healing work that needs to be done. And we got to get ready to roll up our sleeves, because this is not just healing for ourselves, but this is healing for our ancestors. Healing for our ancestors is definitely needed. Whew, child. Sit to that. Whew. Baby, I wrote down some points. Let me get through these pointers, okay? Whew. So we already talked about identifying the problem, right? We were talking about the physical issues, but let's talk a little bit about the spiritual issues, right? So these are the signs. I'm going to give you the 4 signs, right? When we're talking about identifying the problem. The first thing that you want to do is you want to read the signs. So I'm going to give you an example. Real life story. In 2015, I was working at a city job. I was working for the Department of Education, right? And it was a really good paying job. Having a city job was supposedly the goal, right, of success, supposedly in my circles or in my community, right? Everybody wanted a city job. But I wasn't happy. I was miserable. I hated waking up. I hated going there. It was like, I literally felt like a robot. These are the signs, right? The universe gives you signs when things are wrong. This is when I started to identify that there was a problem. It was starting to affect my relationships. It was starting to affect my health. It was starting to block my creativity, right? I felt unmotivated. I felt uninspired. I felt like, I'm like, yo, it has to be more to life than just this. I just felt like I wasn't living the life that I was meant to live. This was the signs of the universe. Remember, I said this is step number 1, read the signs. The universe is always speaking to us. We have to learn how to pay attention, okay? The second step is you have to take accountability. I woke up every morning complaining. I was complaining. I was like, oh my God, I hate waking up early. Oh my God, I hate this job. Oh my God, I only get 30-minute breaks. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm tired. I hate this. And so one day I heard a voice tell me, if you hate it so much, then why you keep going? And I was like, what? That's a good question. Why do I keep going? Why am I here? I had to take accountability for my actions, and I had to say, I'm the one who signed up for this job. I'm the one who gets up every morning and come here. I'm the one who makes this decision to wake up and come to the same exact place every day. I had to take accountability for my actions. I had to admit that it wasn't my job that was the problem. It was me. It was me not trusting myself to do better. It was me being stuck in my comfort zone and not doing what I felt like I needed to do. It was me being afraid, right? It was me trying to live a life for other people. So this is where we go back to the root causes again. When I was younger, I used to always feel like I had to, in order for me to get any type of attention or validation, I had to appease my loved ones. I had to acquire good grades. I had to do, in order to get their affection, in order to get their approval, I had to do certain things, right? Because as children, children are very smart. Children understand, like, okay, you know what? If the only way that I can get mommy and daddy's attention is to act out in school, then what am I going to do? I'm going to act out in school, right? Or the opposite. If the only way that I can get my parents or family's attention and love is to get good grades and behave myself, then I'm going to do what they tell me to do. I'm going to behave. I'm going to be obedient. I'm not going to rebel. And I'm just going to do whatever they say, even if that means that, that's at the expense of my own happiness. Children incorporate this into their minds, and these same children grow up, right? These are grown kids, grown girls and grown boys and grown bodies, but they still have that mentality as that young little girl, young little boy, and they never untrained that. They never got out of that. Okay, so that was number 2. I had to take accountability when I realized why I was doing this. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm at this job. I never wanted this job. This was something that was told to me that I needed to do. I don't remember wanting to be here. So then it was the epiphany, part 3, step 3. The epiphany happened where I woke up one day and I'm like, I looked around that office and I seen all little women around me, older women, because I was one of the youngest ones there. I was looking around and I seen that they all looked miserable. They all looked bitter. They all hated their jobs. And you know what they always continue to complain about? I can't wait till my retirement. Oh my God, I'm almost there. I'm about to get that pension. A few more years to go. And I'm like, yo, this sounds like jail. Like doing a bid, doing time. Like I'm almost out of here. I only got a few more time to do. And I'm like, yo, this ain't for me, man. I'm like, yo, this ain't for me. I'm like, yo, I'm only like less than a year in this place. And I'm like, I'm already feeling like this. I can only imagine what these women feel like. These women look bitter. They look tired. They look like the life was literally sucked out of them, y'all. I said, nah, I can't do this. That was my epiphany. That was my awakening. After that day, I knew it. When I clocked out, I knew that was going to be the last time I clocked out of that place. I was never coming back. No 2 weeks notice, no heads up, nothing. I was out of there. Okay, finito, done. That was my epiphany. That was more than enough sign from spirit. I didn't need nothing else. Spirit is always giving you signs. You have to pay attention. You have to take accountability, and you have to be able to look around you and pay attention to the signs when they come into you, because that epiphany is coming. If it hasn't hit you already, but for those of y'all that's already watching this, that epiphany probably already hit you because you're here. You're here. You're watching this. You are ready to transform your life. Okay. Now, 4. Now, this is the hardest part. Number 4 was I had to make the choice. Number 4 is the choice. You have to choose. What will you do? There comes a point in time in life where you will enter a crossroads, where you have to either stay in your comfort zone, the safe zone, and be miserable. That was a choice I had. It was like, stay where I'm at, it's comfortable, but I'm miserable. Or take a leap of faith, which means I don't know what's out there. It was the fear of the unknown. There was a chance I could fail. There were people around me that I love that told me that I made a dumb decision for leaving this job. So now I had to this was a point in time where I had to believe in myself. I was like, okay, I'm at this crossroads. Am I going to continue to keep letting people that I love dictate to me how I want to live? Or is this the point in my life where I take control, where I take the freaking steering wheel, I get in the driver's seat and I say no more. I'm not letting anybody drive me crazy. This is my life and I'm driving it. I'm gonna live it my way. And that's what I decided to do. And that's why I'm here today. Now imagine if I would have stayed in my comfort zone. Imagine if I would have stayed at that miserable 9-to-5 city job, doing the same thing every day. There will be no Kanja Queen. There will be no live stream right now. There will be no video. Okay? So there comes a point in time where there's going to be people out there that need you. A lot of you are supposed to be teachers, healers, coaches, therapists, doing big things out here. And the world is waiting for you to step forward. People are waiting for you. So you have to do the healing work. You have to identify the problem. You have to do the healing work. You have to get through this pain, heal yourself, so that way you can help others that are where you used to be. That girl, that troubled girl once long ago, I give thanks to her, because if it wasn't for my past self, I would not be where I am today. We have to honor our child self. We have to honor our inner child. We have to heal her. We have to send her healing energy saying, I love you, I forgive you, thank you. You feel me? You have to send healing and love to her or to him, because time is an illusion. Everything is happening right now. And if you understand quantum physics, certain particles and waves are not limited to linear time. Past, present, future is not linear. Everything's happening right now. And if that is true, that means that you can telepathically send signals to your child self, because she is alive somewhere right now. She is active somewhere right now. All we have is right now. We can't get into a whole segment about time, but I would definitely say read this book called Time in the Technosphere. And to my VIPs, I ain't forget about you. I know we're supposed to be going live at in the Zoom link at 8:30. We're going a little bit over, but I just wanted to say that. And also, what was I going to say? Now that you know the 4 steps, now that we only covered, this is only day 1, okay? We are going to get much deeper tomorrow, because we're going to be talking about the emotional triggers. Now, today we talked about root causes, the root chakra. You cannot build anything on a weak foundation. If you want to build an empire, if you want to build a prosperous life, if you want to build a business, if you want to build whatever it is that you're trying to build, a kingdom, a queendom, you have to first lay down the firm foundation. You have to go to the root cause. You have to unweed the sickness, unweed the rot, unweed all of the toxicity, the karmic generational debt, the karmic curses, all of that. Break it up. Face it, heal through that, cry through that. Listen, things are going to come up. You might start crying. I noticed during this shadow work, you may randomly just be chilling one day, just start crying. Like, yo, why am I crying right now? Because that is cathartic. That is the healing that needs to come out. Crying is healing, baby. Crying is healing. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the emotional triggers. We're going to talk about relationships, because, baby, them relationships, a lot of people have problems with relationships, finding love, finding healthy love, wondering why people say, oh, men ain't shit, women ain't shit, ain't nobody good out here. The dating pool is full of poop. You know, like, the truth of the matter is, you speak your reality into existence, and you have to ask yourself, where in my subconscious mind am I so hurt and triggered that I'm afraid to love, or I'm afraid to open up my heart? Who hurt me? Who stopped me from believing in love? Because remember, as children, we believe in anything. We are imaginative. Our heart is open. Our mind is open. Like, there is no limitations. So you have to first do step 1. You have to go to the root and ask yourself, what is my main problem? What is the main issue that's affecting me right now? When did I start to feel these things? try to go as far back as you can. It's going to take some time. You might have to sit down and meditate. Okay, you're going to have to ask yourself, why do I keep wanting to distract myself? Like, why do I always feel like I got to go out and party? What am I running from? What is it that I'm afraid to feel? It's fear. Abandonment issues. Yes, somebody said it in here. Abandonment issues. Tomorrow we are going to talk about these triggers, how they come up in your relationships, why these toxic root karmic is affecting your life. We're going to talk about all of that tomorrow. So stay tuned, family. It's going to get really deep tomorrow. I hope that you are ready. If you haven't signed up already, guys, for people that's just tuning into the YouTube live, like, yo, what is this about? Go on my website. Let me see if I could pin it. I'm going to pin it real quick for you guys. Hold up. So you guys can sign up for it. So I'm going to send the link. I'm going to send, to everybody who signed up, I'm going to send you some homework tonight. Okay, some things that you need to write, some things you need to think about, meditate on. Let me see, here it goes. All right, so make sure that your email is correct. Let's see, let me minimize this. All right, putting it in there right now. Why is it not copying? There we go. There we go. All right. I'm gonna pin that. Pin message. All right. So, did I pin the right one? Oh, crap. I did. Okay. So that's pinned. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okie dokie. So family, it has been great. My VIPs, I'm about to see you in a few. So make sure that you check your emails, click that Zoom link. We're about to go live in a few. And we're going to get really deep into this. So, but for everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in. Tomorrow is going to be part 2, and we're going to get deeper into the emotional triggers, relationships, and more. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I love you. And I'm going to send out that homework tonight. So check your emails. Okay. Until next time, Kaja Queen signing out. See you tomorrow. Peace.